Good morning and happy Thursday. Big shout out to all of you who filled out your Unit 1 test reflection. You guys put some really good stuff in there. I mean that. You let me know what's working well for you. So, whatever's working well, I'm not going to change because if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But a lot of you said that you're having some trouble going through those bell ringers. So, what I'm going to try to do from here on out is I'm going to do what I'm doing now and walk you through these bell ringers and show you just how you should be tackling them, okay? Because it shouldn't be anything that's too taxing. It shouldn't be too difficult. So let me help us get through it, okay? So let me zoom in on today's bell ringer. Here we go. I'm going to show you exactly how you should go about answering this question, okay? So just follow along with me and type in your answer once you know what the right answer is. Okay, so this question says, the table provides information about two inherited, remember inherited means that it comes from the parents, inherited traits in plants, stem height, and flower color. Okay, so if you look at this table here, whenever a question gives you a table or a graph or a picture, this might sound silly to say, but you gotta look at it, okay? Whenever they give you one of those things, your answer is likely going to be within that table or within that graph or picture. So this table here, it gives the allele and the trait. So we remember that the allele, what that is just a single letter that we use to represent a different version of a trait. So for example, in this table, we've got a capital T, which represents a tall stem. A lowercase t represents a short stem. So we use the letter T to represent stem height, but we use capital and lowercase to represent the different versions of height. So we have a capital T for tall and a lowercase t for short. And the same thing goes for the R's, which it looks like it's for color. So we have a capital R represents a red flower and a lowercase r represents a white flower. Okay, so using this table, we have to figure out which statement about these traits is true. So A, B, C, or D, which one of these is correct? Which one is true about the table? So let's just go through it one by one and figure out if this statement is true or false. So A says that stem height is dominant to flower color. We remember that dominant just means that if that allele is present, it's going to win, right? It's going to take over that recessive trait. It's what you are going to see in the phenotype. It's going to be expressed. So this statement says that all of stem height, either tall or short stem, all of stem height is dominant to the flower color. So we know this one's probably not going to be true because what's going to be dominant is a version of a trait, not the trait itself. What I mean by that is you can't have height be dominant to color because those are two separate traits. What's going to be dominant is a type of trait, so either tall or short, or red or white. So we know it's not going to be A. B says pretty much the same thing, but backwards. It says flower color is dominant to stem height. Again, we know that's not going to be true because those are two completely different traits. C says that tall stems and red flowers are the dominant trait. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Tall stems, if we look up here, is given the capital letter for the allele. And we remember that we use a capital letter to represent the dominant trait. So if the tall stem has a capital T, we know that's dominant, so that part's good. Let's check on the red flowers because it says red flowers are also dominant. So if we look up at the table, it says red flower and there's a capital R. So red flower is also dominant. So C is going to be correct in this case. D is not going to be correct because, well, let's take a look. It says short stems and white flowers are dominant. So since short stem has the lowercase t, we know that the lowercase letter represents a recessive trait. So the short stem is not going to be dominant, it's going to be recessive, and same for the white flowers. It has that lowercase r, so that is going to be recessive. Okay, so make sure you put the answer that is correct right here in the box and explain why it's right because you're not going to get credit if you just put the answer. You got to say why you know it's correct. And then, of course, don't forget to scroll down, watch today's guided notes, and fill out the notes as you go. See you later.